We are Nerd Cult Online, and this is the Dreamworks Kung Fu Panda pinball table from Zen Studios and Pinball Fx. Now, on the Kung Fu Panda table, you basically play the beginnings of the first Kung Fu Panda movie, and I'm hoping that throughout the table you'll eventually get to fight Tai Lung. But as far as my experience would dictate, I may be a bit doubtful on that one. But overall, playing the table, you do have bowls of noodles in the back that you basically bounce off of, a few different ramps. Now, the ramps themselves I found pretty difficult to actually hit intentionally. For some reason, I can just never line it up right. And then a majority of my hits would always hit the dummy at the very center of the table. But if you actually hit the stuff behind it enough times, you will basically get to fight other things inside the temple. So some of the other sparring items, and use that to actually progress the story a little bit more. But unfortunately, that became very difficult to actually hit the items in the back without just hitting the dummy. So that was very challenging by itself to actually trigger. But at least the flippers themselves are definitely still responsive. Like we tend to see pretty consistently with the folks at Zen. They definitely know how to make those things work well on pretty much every table. But overall, I found this table to be a little lackluster. There just wasn't enough going on the table to match the quality that we're used to seeing from their other tables. And out of the 3 from the Dreamworks Pack, I found this one to honestly be quite dull, and I sadly was disappointed, considering that it's one of my all-time favorite animated franchises. So maybe it's that I had too high of hopes for it, but it definitely wasn't as good as I was hoping for. That's for sure. But it is still a beautiful table. But I would have liked to see Poe at least move around more. Most of the time, he just sits there doing almost nothing. Where, in the movie, he at least was trying to do something pretty consistently and just usually failing. And I was hoping for some of that physical humor, as he tried and failed repeatedly. But unfortunately, didn't get to see much of that at all.
Why don't you try again? A little harder. It's very bad news.
I probably sucked more today than anyone in the history of Kung Fu.